What's going on, people? So the last 3 weeks of vlogging has been an epic fail. So I'm hoping to get back on my routine this week. The first week was the week of surgery, and then the last 2 weeks have been my recovery. Although I didn't document well with long form video, I did do a lot of short form video to document my recovery. So I hope you guys have been catching those, and thanks for those that have been commenting and liking. So again, hoping to get back on my square this week. Right now, so far this morning, I've been up since about 9 o'clock. It's currently 1. I started my laundry and just finishing my laundry from while I was gone, and changing my sheets from this last week. And yeah, just not doing too much, but trying to do enough to stay active. And then I'm gonna rest as much as I can. If I feel up to it before 6 o'clock, before 5 o'clock, I'm gonna try to go over to the gym and get a small workout in, because I do need to start getting physically active again. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go ahead and take my Manjaro shot, because I haven't taken that since July. Alright, so the Manjaro is in. I don't even know what I weigh, because I haven't weighed since I came home on Monday. At that point, I had regained all the weight I lost the week of surgery, plus a couple more pounds. So, let's see how much I weigh. Alright, so as you see, I done gained about 10 pounds since my last weigh-in before surgery. Last weigh-in before surgery, I was at about 218, 219, and now I am up to 229. So I gotta get that 10 pounds off, because I was trending pretty good towards my goal of being being down to 180 before the end of the year. So I gotta get back on my square. Alright, so today is actually Tuesday. I believe it's the 27th. I was supposed to come back and update you guys yesterday on how therapy went. I actually just been supposed to record more often, period. One thing I had planned to do during this time off was to record a lot of content. And when I say record a lot of content, I have like pages of videos that I was gonna do. And I have not felt comfortable doing any videos this month, because even though they told me I could talk and they wanted me to talk, I had no idea that this surgery was going to change the sound of my voice. At least it changed the sound of my voice to me. So with that, and then on top of that, it just takes some time to get my statements out a little more, because I have to work a little harder to enunciate my words so that everything comes out as clear as I would like it to be. So with that in mind, I just have not been recording, working on the videos that I wanted to work on. Obviously the first couple of weeks when I was supposed to be vlogging. I didn't vlog as much as I wanted to. And I still haven't even, at this point, I still haven't even edited the video from the vlog from the week of the surgery. And then I tried an attempt at vlogging the next week, which was my, and then last week, which I'm, at this point, is self-view clips. I'm just gonna do like a 2-week vlog. So right now what I'm doing, I'm just around the house, finishing up some tasks that I started last week that I haven't been as motivated to get to. But given that I'm coming into the last 3 weeks of my leave, the last half of my leave, I don't want to be overwhelmed with getting ready to go back to work. So I got to get on top of things. And it's mainly hanging up my clothes and putting away laundry that's done. So that's what you see me doing right now. I do have a big load of dark clothes right now that was so big that I apparently actually stuffed the washer. So I just split that load in half, and half of it is drying now. Then I'll put the other half in when that's done. And then I have a small load of colored clothes that I'm going to wash, and I've been trying to build a larger load of whites, and it's only adding like a face style a day, so I'm gonna have a small load of whites to wash after that. And then I can finish getting all this stuff out the way in the living room so that I can thoroughly sweep and mop. My poor plants, they took a beating while I was gone. I thought I watered them before I left, but I also didn't plan on being gone for 2 whole weeks. I only planned on being gone for like a week and a half. And then the other thing I didn't consider is that I turned off the air conditioning while I was gone. So the plants dried out much faster than I expected. So some of them was like bone dry when I got back. A couple of them needed to be repotted, so I did take care of that when I got back. And actually I got a snake plant that I'm looking at right now that is so overgrown its pot that I need to repot it into either break it up and repot it into smaller pots, or just repot the whole thing into one bigger pot. But I don't have any soil left, so that's something I gotta consider. But I did start therapy yesterday, and it did not go as well as I expected it to. One of the therapists is not local. She is out of Dallas. It's through the EAP program, so anybody that has dealt with their EAP program knows how that goes. But what I did look into afterwards is that my previous therapist, she and I had an awesome working relationship. She was also through the EAP program. However, the EAP program has changed since I started with her last fall. And we had run out of sessions, which is why I stopped with her. But since the one thing she and I had talked about was me looking into my medical benefits to see if my medical insurance would cover me continuing sessions with her. So after the session yesterday, I did look and see that she is covered by my medical insurance. So I think I'm going to reach out to her and see if I can get back on her books under my medical insurance. because again, we did have a awesome working relationship, and I do know that therapy helps, and it was working for me as long as she and I was working together. And this new therapist only get 5 sessions, and she did not schedule a second session. And instead of her working with me through my problems, I kind of felt like she was victim blaming yesterday. So I don't want to continue with her. And the EAP program, like I said, has changed. So you only get 5 sessions across all of the EAP services now, instead of what it was before. We got 8 therapy sessions, and you can restart therapy anytime you want with a new therapist or under a new cause, and your 8 sessions will start over. So apparently they've done away with that. And I'm pretty sure it got pretty costly for them. If everybody in the company had taken advantage of that, that would have cost the company a lot of money. So I understand, but since my medical insurance does pay for mental health, and I don't have to come out of pocket, at least right now, I don't think I have to come out of pocket very much, especially not this year, since I've already met my out-of-pocket max. I think I'm gonna reach back out to my previous therapist. I do have a couple Lego projects that I could do, but I also want to do some lives where I am working on my book. So I think I'm going to shift my focus to that once I get some stuff done around this house done. But that's what I want to update you guys on. Like I said, I haven't been vlogging as much as I intended. So I'm just trying to do better about that. Good morning, LaFrederick Burns.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
LaFrederick Burns.
Sorry. Who are you seeing today? Oh, okay.
Dr. Farrell.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Got a lot going on here. All right. I will let him know you're here, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, so I don't think I've recorded since Wednesday. It's just been a lot. So Thursday I woke up and my face had swollen up again. So of course I didn't record that. I was trying to figure out what was going on. Still don't know why I re-swelled up so much. But I spent the day under Vicodin and with the heat pad wrapped around my head. So definitely wasn't recording like that. I mean, I could have just so you guys can see it, but that's not really exciting. And then right now I'm dealing with lockjaw. So I can't really eat anything. I'm not supposed to be eating anything hard anyway, but hard or crunchy. But I can't really open my mouth really wide. I have been doing my exercises, which I posted a short showing what those are to kind of help prevent or alleviate the lockjaw. But it seems like the more I do the exercises, the worse the pain is when I do go to try to eat. So like this right now I'm eating some monkey bread, which is basically like a cinnamon bun dough, like this. I guess the best way to describe it is the if you never had it, it's like the center of a cinnamon bun. And basically what I'm doing is smashing it all the way down and sliding it in between my teeth. And then like, this is what one piece would normally look like, and I can't, typically I would just throw this whole piece in my mouth, but I can't do that right now, so. But I did leave the house and go for a small walk today. Just went up to the grocery store to get the money in order to pay the rent. And then talk to the leasing office about some things that's going on. And that kind of discouraged me because just a lot of mental stuff that's going on right now, mental and financial stuff. So just really looking forward to all of this coming out of all of this. And then on top of that, I go to check the mail today and I get a letter two letters actually from the benefit center telling me that I'm actually on unpaid leave. So naturally I panicked because the last communication I got from Cedric was that my short-term disability had been approved. So right away I went back to Cedric's website and showed that it was the short-term disability was approved, but the continuous leave was not approved, which I knew that wasn't approved. I don't understand why they had me in for two separate leaves to begin with. Actually, I do know what it is. What it is I originally applied for the continuous leave because when I put my claim in, I hadn't made 1 year yet. So since I hadn't made 1 year in May, when I put the claim in, I didn't qualify for FMLA. So the only claim I could put in was the continuous leave. And naturally, because I was going to be out for as long as I am, that would have eventually converted over to short-term disability anyhow. But had I waited and put the claim in right before I left, it would just all fell under FMLA. So I guess that's the way they chose to do it. I don't know. I don't understand it. But then, just to make sure that I was looking at things correctly, I called Cedric, and of course it's Saturday, so. Um, but they're open 7 days a week. So I called them. The automated system confirmed that I do have a paycheck coming this week when we get paid. So that's all I need to hear. Once I heard that, I didn't even bother about waiting to speak to a claims representative or anything. I just need to confirm that I had some sort of money coming. But back to this letter that I got today, I'm thinking that they're not taking benefits out of my check right now because I am not working. Which, if they're not, great. If they are, I'm still, I know what to kind of expect financially on this paycheck, but if they're not taking benefits, then I should have a little bit more. Which right now I can use every dime I can get because it's now time to, the rent I just paid was past due, and it's now time to pay September rent. And I just found out that the property manager that I've been working with that understands my situation, even though she's not supposed to take hardships into consideration. She's been understanding of my situation, the migraines and all of that, and everything I've been going through over the last year. And she was able to see that prior to them buying the property, I wasn't late on rent. So she's been working with me. But I just found out that she's leaving on the 15th. And so her fear is that if I don't get caught up before she leaves, the next manager that comes in is going to come in and clean house, and anybody that's past due, that manager is going to try to get everybody out of here. So my goal is to try to get everything taken care of before she leaves, which once I see what this paycheck looks like, I'll know if I'll be able to, I'll know what kind of position I'll be in. If not, then I still have to go talk to that new manager and try to see what they're willing to work out. Because if the way it works in North Carolina, you once you pass due, they serve a 30-day. They have to serve a 30-day notice. Whereas other states I've lived in, it's been a 5 or 14-day notice. They have to serve a 30-day notice, and then after that 30-day notice, then they can file for eviction. But this company, they said that just because they file for eviction don't mean that you're done. Unless the property manager that comes in decides they want to be a hard ass and clean out anybody that's been past due. Normally, but most property managers with the company, is what I'm told, is that they will work with anybody that comes in with all of their payments prior to court. But if you go to court, of course you have to pay court costs. But if you go to court, then the judge is going to still order the eviction or whatever, writ of possession. And then after that, it's up to the property manager on whether or not they are willing to, just like before, it's up to them, but whether or not they're willing to work with you on whether you stay or whether you go. But I'm hoping that it doesn't get to the point where I do have to go to court. So, like I said, I'm working on, once I see what my check is going to look like, on Wednesday I'll know what my check looks like on Thursday, and then I can sleep easier from there. Now, for all of those Twitter thumbs out there that's like, well, why would you put yourself in this situation? I had no idea that I was going to be dealing with these migraines this year, and I had no idea that my car was going to go down, because the plan was to make sure that I had like all my bills paid, literally paid, before I went into surgery. Um, and even though I make $15 an hour less in North Carolina than I made before I left Wisconsin, my plan was to use my car to do Uber and Lyft and other side hustles that I'm signed up for to make up the money I needed to be able to pay my bills in advance. And I was on track to do that. And then I literally paid my May rent. And then the very next day, my car broke down. Now, since then, I found out all I need is an alternator, but the alternator costs money. It's not like it was back in last time I was dealing with an alternator on my 1991 Buick Ultra. That alternator was $250, and then I was able to have a street mechanic put it on for another $50, $60. If that was the case, I probably would already have it done. Right now. I'm dealing with a 2017 Jeep Cherokee. They actually gotta get in there and work with that alternator. I can't even see where the alternator is. With the last car I had to deal with this on, I could literally look under the car and the alternator was literally right there. So just doing my own Google search on parts, the alternator itself costs $350 to $500. And then I said, since I gotta go to a shop like someplace like Firestone, I might as well add on another $500 for labor. So we're looking at close to $1,000. And then because the car doesn't drive right now because since the alternator is not working, the battery's not charging, I'm gonna have to have it towed, which can possibly be another $100 or $200. So that's what I'm dealing with. And I thought about doing a GoFundMe, but I never had luck with those. People are quick to say, what do you need, what do you need, what do you need, when they see that you're going through something. But then when you put the GoFundMe together to get the help you need, it just is, for me, it just sits there. So I don't even waste my time with that. I just trust in God that everything end up working out in the end. Now, when I get back to work, I will be eligible for the Guild program again. The Guild program basically is tuition reimbursement. And since school is already paid for, what I'm hoping is the class that I start on September 5th, even though I don't become eligible for the Guild until September 22nd, I'm hoping that the class I'm in, because I'm technically already an employee, I just got suspended from the program for 6 months because of my attendance. I'm just hoping that on September 22nd, when I go to apply for reimbursement for my class I start on September 5th, that they still honor that class. If not, oh well. I start another class in October, so we'll go from there. But I could definitely use that $1,300 that I would get back. But in an effort to not let all of this stress me out and make the last few weeks of my leave feel miserable, tomorrow starts a new week, so I plan on starting to get back into what will be a normal routine. tomorrow will be a Sunday reset. And with that, I do want to start incorporating workouts. And then speaking of workouts, let's talk about my weight for a moment. So before I went into surgery, I was fluctuating between 218 and 220. You guys saw at the beginning of this week, I weighed 229. I talked a little bit about how it was expected that I was going to lose weight after the surgery, and I did. Within that first week of the surgery, I actually got down to about 212 pounds according to my mom's scale. I wasn't on my scale because I forgot to take my scale with me, so I don't know my exact weight according to my scale, but according to my mom's scale, I got down to 212 pounds. And that's mainly because I didn't have any appetite at all. But boy, once the appetite came back, I quickly put that little weight back on. I quickly got back up to 220 pounds before I left my mom's house, and I was out there for 2 weeks. But once I came home, I pretty much carb loaded. If you guys saw my post, right after I came home, I cooked a pan of macaroni and cheese, a bowl of candy yams, a pan of dressing, cooked a pot of greens, a big old meatloaf. So meatloaf being the only protein I was really eating, all those carbs really packed on really quick. So if I was 220 when I came home, I quickly, within a week, I put on another 9 pounds. But since then, since I weighed in on Sunday or Monday, whenever I did it on this vlog, I'm back down to 223. So now, also the other thing is that I hadn't taken my Mounjaro since the week before surgery, and this past Sunday was the first time I've taken it. So it had been pretty much a month since I taken my last shot. So what that tells me that I definitely, if there was ever a litmus test to say, hey, is the Mounjaro working? That was it. If there was ever a litmus test to say, hey, can I be off the Mounjaro and not go to the gym? That was it. Because that few weeks pretty much showed me that if I don't get into the gym, I'll quickly pack on the weight, all the weight that I've lost, and probably then some. And I definitely don't want to go back to seeing numbers on the scale that I don't want to see again. I want to eventually still get down to 180, and I'm still close enough to get there by the end of this year, especially since I've reversed course and started to lose the weight that I just packed back on. So with that said, going into next week, I definitely want to start to get into more of a workout routine, and I'm gonna try to get up early and go ahead and knock that out. Tomorrow's Sunday, so the gym opens, I believe, at 7 a.m. I'm not saying I'm gonna be up that early, but I do want to try to go ahead and get it out the way so that I'm not using it as an excuse, using time and how I feel as an excuse to not go. And then we'll see. I don't have anything else to do the rest of the week. No appointments or anything. I don't have any appointments until the 22nd. So I guess the game plan for tomorrow is for me to get up, go to the gym, come back, do my Sunday reset, and pretty much chill out. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and sign off because it's getting late. It is 7:30 on Saturday night. I don't normally close out the video this late unless I'm working. This has been the first full week of vlogging for the most part. Based on the time on this clip here, you guys are going to get a nice lengthy video compared to at least the last 2 or 3 weeks prior to this. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're not already, please follow me on all of my social media. And I will see you guys in the next video.